I mean, to be honest with you, listening to Alan, it's like the ravings of a madman. We're 14 months into a genocide, which has been documented, the most documented genocide in history. You have the ICC asking for...
More than Nazi Germany? Wait a minute. More than Nazi Germany? The most documented genocide in history? More than the murder of 6 million
people
Jews?
can see it. I didn't say the amount of people.
Wait a minute. What are you doing on television if you think that this is a greater genocide, documented genocide, than the Nazi Holocaust,
that wasn't documented as it was happening in the same way. That wasn't documented in the same way while it was happening.
Nobody should listen. Nobody should listen to a word you're saying.
You only can speak over people because your arguments have no validity.
To argue
there isn't a West Warrant out.
Genocide than the Nazi genocide. Shame on you.
Shame on you. Shame on you for defending a genocide and using the memory of the people who died in the Holocaust to justify that genocide. It's disgusting. And I had family who died in the Holocaust. I find it disgusting that people like you weaponize anti-Semitism and weaponize Jewish suffering to justify another genocide which is happening now. But let me answer the question. If you weren't so rude, maybe we could get somewhere. But I think partly the reason you argue like this is because you know you have no valid points.
What if you're wrong? You know, one of my big problems with Israel and the IDF is they haven't let journalists go in and verify anything that they're doing. Right? It's still almost impossible for journalists to get on the ground over in Gaza, right? So we have no real independent idea of what they've been up to. What if you're just wrong, Alan? What if actually war crimes have been committed on quite a wholesale basis? You seem to be absolutely certain that there's no war crime that's been committed. But how can you be certain? No one's been allowed to go in there and see what's been going on.
You can be certain by just looking at the statistics that are issued by Hamas themselves. If you take every single statistic issued, Israel has the lowest ratio of civilian to combatant deaths of any country in modern warfare. The United States, Great Britain, NATO. That statistic alone, maybe 1 or 2% of the entire civilian population of Gaza. By the way, they count as civilians 18-year-old soldiers who they call children, or women who are carrying bombs who they call women. If you take just those statistics, you will see that Israel has done better than any country faced with comparable threats. And yet,
well,
the
if there's
United
nothing to hide,
Nations
okay, but
has
look,
condemned Israel.
I'm going to move. To the other panel.
They should allow journalists in.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Pierce,
let's agree on that.
You and I go to Israel together, and let's look at what happened. I agree with you. There should be more visibility and more transparency, and I welcome a visit with you. I offered that to the head of the prosecutor's staff, and they turned it down.
Okay.
They refused to go to Israel.
Let me bring in the other panelists. This is point.
Okay, so The Lancet, an independent medical journal, recently published a piece that claimed that 186,000 people have been killed in Gaza. 70% of those women and children. You're talking about a genocide. And to be honest with you, we have the evidence is in. Yoav Gallant, one of the ministers, or the defense minister that's now sacked, that is one of the recipients of an arrest warrant from the ICC, he went on TV early in the genocide and he said, we are dealing with human animals and we will withdraw all water, food and electricity from 2.3 million people, half of them children. Let me finish. That is genocidal rhetoric, and they carried it out. They've been launching an extermination campaign in northern Gaza, in Jabalia camp, wiping out whole scores of people. There's been massacres every day. 100 people often die every single day. It's clear to the whole world. You are in the minority and the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. Okay. 125 countries, if Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, who are wanted war criminals, step in, they will be arrested. And thankfully, the ICC saved the reputation of international law, because one of the disgraceful things about the ICC arrest warrants is it took so long. The whole world has been watching this. We all know what's going on. You are the minority. The whole world is appalled by what we are supporting.
A year and a month into this war,
Well,
passions.
I think that the claim that any and all criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic is a total obvious weaponization of anti-Semitism. It's pathetic. It's dangerous. It harms Jews like me.
Nobody ever says that.
Excuse me, Alan. You always interrupt people because you're a bully. Please be quiet.
Never say
that. And what I want to ask you, Alan, is Theodore Meron an anti-Semite? The Holocaust survivor who was on the committee advising the arrest warrants, is he an anti-Semite who used to be an ambassador for Israel? Okay, so he's
of course not.
He's wrong.
And I've never said that. You're making it up. He's wrong
when he advised
you can be wrong without. You can be wrong
okay, so
without
he's not
being an anti-Semite.
wrong.
He's wrong.
Okay.
He's wrong,
All
and
right.
he's not an anti-Semite.
Okay.
Please
Okay.
use
Now-
logic. Don't just use
Oh my God,
this
you're
kind
so
of nonsense.
condescending and you're so disingenuous and you weaponize anti-Semitism all the time. So let me just finish. I'm going to finish. Okay. So the other thing is that, of course, you don't want to hear that Israel's committing war crimes. And you bring up the fact that under the ICC arrest warrants, by that logic, the U.S. could be tried for committing war crimes. Well, guess what? They should be. Because, of course, they committed war crimes. Of course, they committed war crimes in Iraq.
That's the point.
You brought it up yourself. So
This
I don't
is
know
an
why
attack
you brought that
against
up
America.
as if that's disqualifying. Yeah.
No, it's not
Any
an attack
country that
against
commits war
America.
crimes
It's to
should be
make
targeted.
sure
Should be
Western
targeted.
leaders are held to the same standards that we
Right.
hold other leaders to. And you hate that because the whole
Yeah,
legal
right.
international
How
legal
about
system is
Iran?
based on the fact that you
how
can go
about
abroad
Iran?
and do
Has
what you want,
anybody-
but the people who are
But
official
also-
enemies
Don't all
can't.
talk over each other because nobody can hear
How
it.
about
Simple reason. There's no
How
other
about
reason.
Iran?
Please don't talk over each other.
Reporting.
Okay, I'm going to continue playing this video in just a few seconds. But this is basically Piers Morgan's episode yesterday. It just came out, and they had some pro-Palestinian activists debating some Zionists, and it was a very good debate. I watched the whole video. I took out all the parts where they're just yelling over each other. I found the best moments, and I put them in this video. So I hope you enjoy that. At the end of this video, I'm going to continue with some of my own personal commentary. If you enjoy this video and you enjoy these shortened videos of longer podcast format, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and thank you so much.
About the horrible war crimes that Hamas has been perpetrating, of hiding behind civilians, of using civilians as human shields, of firing rockets from within densely populated civilian areas, or digging tunnels underneath houses, or using mosques or UN facilities. All of this, by the way, documented and clear, but it hasn't been reported because Palestinian media hasn't been allowed to report it.
Hang on,
Why
Jonathan,
not? Because Hamas has been stifling
hang
that.
on. It also hasn't been reported because the IDF won't let international media in.
Ooh, got him.
So I'm afraid it's not as simple as saying Palestinians won't report it.
Correct. No.
I can go in tomorrow.
What do you mean it's not correct? It's 100% correct. What? You know, to this day, no international reporters are allowed in Gaza. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Isn't correct.
Can I go in tomorrow?
No.
No, I can't.
First of all,
I can't.
yes, I would personally take you in, Piers, even though I'm no longer in the unit. I would make sure that you would be able to go in and tour as much as you want.
You'll let me go
being
anywhere I
Piers
want in
Morgan,
Gaza, will you?
I would put whatever ability I have and whatever influence I have remaining in the IDF on making sure that you would get wherever you wanted
How many
to go in Gaza
international
and
journalists?
speak to whoever you wanted to.
But how many international journalists, and I know many of them, how many of them are currently in Gaza who want to be?
I don't know how many are in Gaza, but
I can
I'll
tell you.
that's
I can tell you.
not enough.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
None.
I tell you.
None of them are.
Well,
Have you read a report
listen,
live from
there's
a
reason-
Western journalist in Gaza? No, they're not allowed in.
Okay. But also, Alan's numbers about civilians, and I apologize if you already covered this when I was disconnected, but his numbers about civilians are totally made up. There's no evidence of this. 90% of the victims of Israel's crimes against humanity have been women and children. And Jonathan, you are shaking your head, but you should be upset. I would be upset. I would be upset if I were you because you've been implicated in war crimes yourself. You lied about Al-Shifa Hospital. You claimed it was a Hamas stronghold. You were debunked by the BBC, Fox News, and the Washington Post, all of which said you did not provide the evidence that you claimed.
Not
But
only
the
do
other
I
thing
claim
is
it,
that
I
even
stand
if
by it,
the
and
weapons
there's
had
ample
been there,
proof
you
of
would
it.
have committed a
And the
war crime
difference
because
between
the
you
Geneva
and I is
Convention.
that I
Can you
was
let
on
me
the
finish,
ground
please? I know
while
you
you
guys
were
are
sitting
bullies who are used
thousands
to
of
Okay, Jonathan,
hide
I'll let you
behind
respond
accusations of
after she's finished.
anti-Semitism. I need to finish. Thank you very much. Okay. So you've been implicated in 2 war crimes. One is you defended Yoav Galant's starvation order on October 9th when you went on the Twitter Live and you defended it and you called them beasts. You called Palestinians beasts. The other thing is you lied about Al-Shifa Hospital. And what happened then? First of all, you lied. But second of all, I'm going to be charitable and say you didn't lie. Let's say everything you found, even though we know you edited the video, and we know this because the BBC, Fox News, and Washington Post all said that. But even if the things that you had found had been there, it would have been a war crime. Why? Because
Some of the comments I wanted to make, again, this is a video and a debate that just came out on Piers Morgan yesterday. Piers brings up a good point. He brings up a point that's been said again and again, that why are there no international media allowed in Gaza? No one is allowed to go into Gaza. Why is that? And like I mentioned before, where there's smoke, there's fire. Israel obviously has something to hide. And in fact, there has been a lot of media in Gaza that has been targeted and shot down, unfortunately. Now, this is something you'll notice with Piers Morgan a lot. He goes back and forth. So this episode, it seems like he's very pro-Palestinian. He's sticking up for the Palestinians. And I want to say that's a good thing. But at the same time, I'm not naive enough to believe that Piers Morgan is not a Zionist. Obviously, he likes to stir up the pot a little bit just so he can get more views. So if he sees the episode going more Zionist, he'll become more pro-Palestinian. If he sees the episode going more pro-Palestinian, he'll bring up some Zionist points. That's just the name of the game. That's how it goes. Now, his annoying lawyer friend says something that really pisses me off sometimes. He's like, so how old are the children? He's making this claim that the women and children that everyone talks about, where half of 70% or up to 90%, according to this video, that are killed are women and children. Well, he's saying that the women are terrorists themselves, and then the children are usually 18 years old, and they're also terrorists. But that's been proven false. There's been American doctors who have volunteered, and they say that they have seen children, like young children, targeted on the head. Targeted on their head multiple times. Now, you can't just get a headshot like that. That's targeted. There are actually soldiers shooting that way, and it's very, very unfortunate. And for him to say that there are no children being shot like that, that's very, very disgusting. And finally, one of the points that I wanted to make is also, this was said in the video, that the walls are closing in, more eyes are opening. And I think that that is true. I remember in 2016 when Bernie Sanders said in a live debate that Israel's response to the Palestinians was disproportionate. That was a huge thing. And my jaw just dropped, and I'm like, did Bernie Sanders just say that live? And since then, I mean, back in the day, everyone supported AIPAC. Everyone supported Israel 100%. Now you see a little bit of a split forming in both conservatives and liberals. And I think more and more people are waking up, and eventually people will wake up. I just hope it's not too late for the Palestinians and they just get totally removed from that area. That would be very sad. But those are my comments. Again, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I love to watch these long podcasts, and I know many people don't have the time to do that. So what I do is I find the best highlights, put them into a clip, and add my commentary. And if you really enjoy that format, once again, like this channel, like this video, subscribe to this channel. And if you really want to support, become a member. I'll give you a shout out. I'll reply to your comments. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.